Hello students, welcome to Dr. Ashwana's lectures. Today I will be taking revision lecture for subject of auditing in semester 4. First of all, I will be discussing the paper pattern. Paper pattern will be like, first question will be MCQs, objectives. Okay. Then question 2 will have internal choice, that is question 2 or 2. Similarly, question 3 or 3, question 4 or question 4. And in question 5, you will have option of attempting short notes. Okay, you have to attempt 4 short notes out of 6. And each question, that is 2 to 4, will have subsection, that is 2A, 2B or 2A and 2B, like that. The paper pattern will be in your tomorrow's paper. Okay, now let us go through the syllabus. I'll be discussing some important questions. Okay, so let us start with the chapter number 1. Introduction to auditing. This is very important chapter. Okay, this is important question. Who are the users of financial statements? Let me tell you, there are many users of your financial statement. Financial statement means your final accounts plus cash flow statement. So who uses this? The company executives, bankers, trade unions, shareholders themselves, labor unions, and we, that is consumers, and the society members. Okay, these all uses the financial statements for analysis. Now, whenever you get any question, okay, I suggest you that you start your answer with the definition of auditing. There are various definitions available. You can choose the, let us see the definition given by A.W. Hansen. He has defined auditing as, an auditing is an examination of such records to establish their reliability and the reliability of statements drawn from there. So it is very important that you start your answer with one of the definitions. Then you can explain. Okay, for explaining the definition, you can use its features. Okay, I'll read out 3 features of auditing. Auditing is a systematic work. Okay, the auditor who is checking the books of account should be independent. That is, he should not be biased or related to the company. Okay, the auditing process will include assessing the data statement, records, operations, and performance of the company. The auditor should keep in mind the purpose of the auditing. Okay, we should be clear with the idea about the propositions. Then collecting evidence. This is very important part of auditing process. The auditor has to give an judgment, give his opinion at the end of the audit. For that, if he has adverse opinion, he should collect evidences to support his judgment. Okay. Students, distinguish between bookkeeping, auditing is important, but I'll tell you, you do distinguish between accounting and auditing and auditing and investigation. These two are important. Distinguish between accounting and auditing and distinguish between auditing and investigation. Okay. Next important question is objects of auditing. Okay. So objects are the most important part in auditing. Okay. The objects can be classified into 2 parts, primary objectives and secondary objectives. Okay. The primary objective is reporting the true and fair view of the statements of accounts to the shareholders. Shareholders are the real owners of the company, so they should know what is happening in the company. So reporting to shareholders about the truth and fairness about the statement of affairs of the company is primary objective of any audit. Okay. Then finding errors, detecting errors and frauds is the secondary objective. Okay. Now, as I told you, secondary objective we have detection of errors and frauds. Okay. So we'll discuss errors and frauds in detail. Now, you can see types of errors are given here. This is important question. Now there are errors, or rather we can classify errors into two parts: clerical error and error of principle. Now the errors which are done at the clerical level, okay, are first one, error of commission. In this error, the accountant records the wrong amount or makes a mistake by posting that amount. Like instead of 49, he records as 94. Okay, that's a error of commission. Then error of omission. Here the accountant forgets to enter the transaction. He omits the transaction completely. Sometimes even a partial omission is possible. Okay, so error of omission means not recording some part or whole of the transaction in the books of accounts. Then we have compensating error. It means the accountant makes two errors exactly opposite to each other. So one error compensates the effect of other error. So as a result, your trial balance, which we draw at the end of the year, may tally, but there will be some error in the books of accounts. Okay. Then we have error of duplication. This is just opposite to error of omission. In omission, we omit the transaction, we do not record it. But in error of duplication, we record the same transaction twice. Okay. Then we have separate set, that is error of principle. When the accountant makes a gross mistake in following basic principles of accounting, then it is said to be an error of principle. Say, for example, I'll give you a small example. If a swimming pool is constructed for workers or the staff members, suppose the swimming pool is constructed for workers and the accountant showed it as a staff welfare expense in P&L, that will be a gross mistake. Okay, because swimming pool will be a capital expenditure, will be used for many more years, so it should be shown on the asset side, and depreciation should be charged to P&L every year. So it's called a error of principle. Clear? I'm covering as much as possible in lesser time, so I may not be discussing everything. So I expect you all to go through your books. Okay. Now we come to fraud. Now difference between fraud and error is of intention. Okay. If any error done with the intention to make personal gain is called as fraud. Okay. So fraud is nothing but a willful act done by accountant or any other person. Okay, it's called a fraud. So fraud can be of two types. First, manipulation or falsification of records. Herein, with some intentions, transactions are omitted to be recorded, or some dummy transactions are recorded. Okay, and sometimes manipulation is done at the accounting policies. Okay, then misappropriation of cash or goods. Okay, the cashier may steal some cash from the cash box. Okay, or can show or can take away money from bank account by withdrawing money. Okay, that is misappropriation. Sometimes misappropriation is done with the goods also. Okay, there are small thefts in the company. Okay, so there are two types of frauds. One is manipulation of or falsification of record books of accounts, and misappropriation of cash and goods. This third type, which is shown on your screen, is teaming and lading. Is a special type. This is done by the accountant. Okay. In this method, what he does, when money is received from one party, say for example, received from Mr. A. Okay, he does not record that cash receipt in the books of account. He pockets that money and start using it. Then when Mr. B pays his dues, he will show this money as received from Mr. A. Okay, and he'll still use the money received from Mr. B. When Mr. C will pay, he will show as received from Mr. B. Okay, and he'll use money paid by Mr. C. But on the last day of the year, what he'll do, he'll deposit the money in the account of Mr. C, so that all accounts show proper balance. This is called as teaming and lading. Okay. This I already explained. Okay. Window dressing. This is one kind of fraud. which is manipulation of books of accounts. In window dressing, in management, mostly this is done at top level. Management, for some reasons or objectives, it can show a better position of books of accounts than what actually is. They try to show a better picture. Okay. Say, for example, increase in the value of assets. Okay. Showing bogus purchase of assets. Okay. And showing lesser liabilities, although liabilities there in the company, but they are reducing it by showing bogus payments to the parties. Okay. This is done to get easy loans from the bankers. Otherwise, bank may not give them the loans. Okay, to increase their reputation or goodwill. Okay, so window dressing is nothing but showing a better picture than what actually is. Okay, so this is one kind of fraud done by the management. Okay, you read further. Next one is fraud through secret reserve. This is exactly opposite to window dressing. In secret reserve, the management, it does not show off. Even if company is doing well, they show if the company is suffering or has a lesser turnover and show a bad position than what actually is. The intention may be to avoid competition from the competitors. Okay, not showing the business as lucrative as maybe in reality it is. Okay, so this is just opposite to your window dressing. Here, company may undervalue its assets, undervalue its stock. Okay, so more liabilities than what actually are. Okay, or inflating the expenses, outstanding expenses. Okay, even this is a kind of fraud. I suggest you read duties of auditor for both window dressing as well as for secret reasons. Okay, what is expected from auditor? What he has to do? Okay, you go through these points. Duties regarding fraud. What auditor has to do? Let us go through these points. Examine all the aspects of finances, vouch all the receipts from the counterfoils or carbon copies, check through the salary and wage register, okay, verify the method of accounting of stock, etc., etc. This is important. Advantages of audit. Auditor gives advantages to not only the businessman, but to investor also, and to the general public also. Okay. Now let us quickly go through all the advantages of auditing. For a businessman's point of view, advantages are he can detect the errors and fraud early. So if his books are audited, he'll get loans from bank. Audited books of account help to build good reputation and goodwill. Proper valuation of asset is possible. Okay. Even government accept audited books of accounts. Okay. In case of investors, they have advantage like their interest or they find safety with the audited books. It's auditing keeps a moral check on the management. Okay, proper valuation of their investment is possible. Other advantages are when we get final accounts, we can rely on them because authenticate. Okay, in case of company wants to list their shares on the market, auditing is must. Okay, easy settlement of claim is possible if the books of accounts are audited. Okay, you can read further, students. This is very important question. Principles of auditing. Okay. Even in this question, you can start your answer with writing definition of auditing. Then you write these points. Okay, I'll explain in brief. Okay. Principles of auditing. First, integrity, objectivity, and independence. The auditor should be honest. Okay. Second, principles of objectivity. He should be very clear with his views or aim or objectives. Okay. Principle of full disclosure. He should see that all the important aspects are properly disclosed in the books of accounts. Principle of materiality. Materiality indicates important items are disclosed in the financial statements. Okay. Then confidentiality. The auditor may be having access to books of accounts, so he may come across many secrets of the company, but he has to maintain secrecy or confidentiality. Skills and competence means auditor is expected to use all his professional skills and competence to conduct the audit. Okay. Auditor can use work done by the others, but he will be responsible for all the reports which he will give. Okay. He cannot blame others. Although he can use work done by others, but he cannot officially pass on his responsibility to those others. Working papers, this point will be covering. Working papers means all the documents and papers generated during the process of auditing. Okay. The auditor has a right over these working papers. Okay. And he can keep them with himself until the payment of audit fees is due. Okay. Auditor should plan his work properly. Auditor should collect all the audit evidences during the process of audit work. The first of all, you should, while starting with the work, you should evaluate the system of accounting which the company is following. Okay? He is expected to give his expert opinion and report. Okay? This is an important question. Materiality I just discussed. Materiality means the important material matter, okay, should be disclosed separately. It should not be mixed with other items. Students, I have two videos recorded on types of audit. So after this lecture, I'm going to share those two videos. I request you to go through those two videos. Those two videos are very important. Majority of the portion or questions may be based on those two videos. Okay. So I'll skip this chapter for now. Those two videos are very important. Okay. I'll share once I complete this lecture. Third chapter, audit planning, procedure and documentation. Okay, I'll start with the meaning. Audit planning refers to planning by the auditor to enable them to conduct an effective audit in an efficient and timely manner. Okay? And including planning about area, scope, depth of audit. Clear? See, whenever auditor takes up the assignment of auditing, the very first thing he should do is plan his audit work. He should plan audit work in such a way that he doesn't miss out on any important aspect. Okay, he should plan such a way that the audit staff doesn't sit idle. Okay, and the audit work gets completed within the given period of time. Okay, these are the objectives of audit planning. This is important. Audit program. Okay. Yeah, I told you what is audit plan. Okay, when you give a time schedule to a plan, it becomes an audit program. Like say, for example, you plan to visit any fort. Okay, if you plan to visit any fort. Okay, so that's a plan, overall plan. that I want to go to this place. Okay, but when you will make a time frame to that visit, okay, like I'll get up at 7 a.m. in the morning. Okay, I'll get fresh by 8 o'clock. I'll have breakfast at this time. I'll leave at this time. I'll take up a train at this time. Okay, so when you make a plan which is time bound, it is called as a program. Okay, clear? In similar fashion, you may have an audit plan, but when you frame it using a time schedule, it becomes audit program. I hope this is clear, students. Audit program is time bound. Okay. There are many factors which you need to consider while framing a audit program. Okay. Factors like internal control. Internal control is plan of the management to safeguard its assets and to see that all the operations of the concern are conducted smoothly. Okay. So when an auditor is making an audit program, he should consider that internal control system is existing in the company. Okay. Then he should look at the activities of the client. Okay. In what kind of activities client is involved. Okay. So he can go and actually observe the transaction. Okay. He has to see what is the cost benefit. Okay. He should decide the scope of the assignment. That is what he has to cover. Okay. All these points are considered while drafting the audit program. Now, when you draft an audit program, what should be the contents? There are many contents, but you can write uh, at least 5 to 6 contents when you make a program. Okay. First thing you will mention is name and object of the undertaking. That is company for whom you are making the audit program. The starting date, that is commencement, and what will be the duration of the audit. Okay. System of accounting, which is followed by the company. Previous year's auditor's report. Okay. The books, list of books of account which will be audited. Type and number of transactions to be selected. Remember that in case of audit, uh, there are a few types which allows the auditor not to go in detail or check each and every transaction. Okay, so there is a test checking. When you have a look at the types of audit videos, you will come to know about that. Okay. Do go through this advantage of audit program. Okay. When you make an audit program, okay, there are various advantages associated with it. Like you have good instructions for your audit staff. They will not be confused. They will be clear about what they have to do. Okay. They may get overview of the work, what they have to do. Okay. Selection of staff becomes easy, that this person is good for this work on this day. Okay. The audit works goes on systematically. You have control over your audit work. You can guide the audit staff whenever required. Okay, you set the audit program in such a way that it results in collection of evidences. So there are various advantages once you make a good time-bound audit program. Okay. Okay. Student, please write your name in the chat box. Those who are attending, please write your name.